back in the room. Oh, yes.
I have a question for Kelson. Do you have any interest in returning from Power Rangers Jungle Fury next year?
I'm quite enjoying being on Power Rangers. Yeah, I would love to come back. They're currently auditioning, doing the recalls, in fact, back in New Zealand now, so it's not looking very hopeful because I'm here. It's not a good sign. Yeah, I mean, I've thoroughly enjoyed every single season. I've met some wonderful people. I've had some wonderful experiences. I'm in Los Angeles speaking to all of you guys, which is crazy for me coming from New Zealand. So yeah, I love the show. I've had a great time, so I'll be more than happy to jump back on, but it's not in my hands. So there was a question back there.
Yeah, what was the address of that send letters?
Now that one I can't help you with. That one you do have to go on the internet. Now that's when the internet's your friend, is finding that address of where to write. But seriously, there used to be a day where a studio would look at certain numbers and say, okay, if somebody calls, that's basically the opinion of 3 people. Because not everybody gets that riled up, or happy or sad. Somebody writes a letter, that's a little bit more involved, that's 10 people. I'll tell you what, now, I would think that if a studio gets a written letter,
It's worth about 800 people.
it's probably worth between 500 and 1,000 opinions, because nobody puts pen to pen. And I'm not talking about typing it out, unless your handwriting's really horrible. Handwriting a letter takes so much more effort, and it means a lot more than, yeah, you can add emails to that as well, email petitions, but email petitions are basically, not worth the paper you print them out on, I guess.
The people who handle Power Rangers, you want to talk about Power Rangers right now, it would be at Disney. Look it up on the Disney website, and you're looking for the Jetix. Jetix is the group that makes these decisions, and that's who you'd write to. I hesitate to give out a name because I'm trying to get a job over there. No.
Actually, the folks at Jetix, I've met them a couple of times down at Comic-Con. They're good folks. Cool folks. They're really nice people, and trust me, the 2 people I'm thinking of, they get a letter, they're going to read it, they're going to look into it, they're going to pay some attention to it.
About the animated show that we've been hearing about coming out from Power Rangers, are any of the previous cast members going to provide their voices? Because if they don't provide their voices, it'll be completely different, basically.
Well, it depends on where it's done. If it's going to be done in Canada, then if you're talking about, then there's a possibility in that there's alliances between New Zealand and Canada, where most of the actors are. If they were going to base it on some of the American actors, then we're not allowed to work in Canada.
Because half the time when they have people fill in for the actors, it ends in tragedy.
No way! It can also be a new storyline. I mean, the fact of it is that, Power Rangers for years has been going with a cast for a year or 2 and then going with a new storyline. And you guys go with that, and you accept that as part of the mythos. So,
it's an animated show.
But the thing is, they could decide that this, this new animated show is going back to the origins of the Power Rangers. So it could end up being really cool. So it's really not.
It's hard to tell. There's a lot of rumors out there. There's a rumor that that the animated show will take the Rangers back off the planet to some other dimension. Then the other rumor is that they're going to take it back to Angel Grove and make it when the Rangers were younger, so kind of like a baby Rangers, but not babies. So you don't know, and all these little rumors are coming out, and I'm discounting the internet stuff. This is stuff I'm hearing inside from the business, but we don't know.
Also, with some of the other animated shows, Jetix has made like Get Ed, and a few of the other ones have been good, and many of them have not been that good.
You can't be great on every show. It's a crapshoot. You never know what people are going to like. So
well, the only
do the best they can.
Well, the only information we really have about anything, even theoretically, about the cartoon is the Super Legends video game, which seems to be multi-generational teams. So literally, we're not even sure we're taking information about the show from the show, assuming it exists.
Sure. Right. I'm not sure. It's very rumored, and the only thing I know is that I heard there was a casting going on and that it was happening in Canada. So.
That's I would guess that's probably pretty accurate.
Okay, we have time for 2 more questions.
Or no. Oh wait, he reluctantly put up his hand. Oh, that's a good question.
Have any of you ever met or have worked with Wendy Lee?
Yes.
Who is this Wendy Lee person?
I would, you know, I'm imagining if she could possibly be a for Power Rangers like that, I would just know her like, I love you, Wendy, and please do
Go ahead.
that.
She has that effect.
She's going to be at AX next week, very prominently. So in fact, go to the main show. They're doing something special with her.
That's it. Just Tony.
I'm doing
Tony
it.
don't.
Pardon?
I know her.
No, I'm saying is Tony the only one who's ever met with Wendy Lee. I was like,
No, I know her.
You know her.
I know her. Not know of her. I know her, which would imply that I worked with her.
We all work together all the time.
Not know who she is. As a matter of fact, I was sitting in a waiting room the other day with her for quite a long time. They were running about an hour and a half late on some auditions.
That was terrible. I was there too.
That was not fun. I had a friend in from London who decided
George Lazenby?
No, she decided that she would, hang out with me, and I said, well, yeah, it's very informal. But I also had to explain to her afterward, while I was trying to get myself out of the doghouse, that when I'm in the lobby, I'm still working. And there are people in the lobby that I need to talk to and communicate with and network with and, see what's going on in the industry, whatever. And it's not the time and place for me to be boyfriendy, and yeah.
Interesting. Wendy was the first female to play a monster's voice on Power Rangers, and she was one of the very first female ADR directors in town. And she started by doing backup ADR directing on the original Power Rangers series.
It was actually
even though she wasn't
training
one of the main people, she was intimately involved with the show on the fringes. But yeah, she was wonderful to work with. She was actually quite good.
And she was actually one of the actors that I was telling you about earlier on a video game where we'll do a scene together. She and I actually did a scene for a video game in separate booths, but it was like we had been in so many different things together.
You read for that video? Why didn't I work on that video? No.
I think you were busy, man. I think you were directing that day. But yeah, so that was a chance to actually work with Wendy after working with her for a decade.
And she was the voice of Scorpina, by the way.
And Alpha 6.
And Alpha
The second
6.
voice. Yeah.
Many others.
And many others.
Many more.
Countless other voices of Power Rangers. Any more questions?
One last question. Wrap it up.
Go for it.
Well, sorry, but I guess it's supposed to be any video requests now.
To the request. So what do you want to have?
No, but I know there was a guy over there that wants.
Somebody
Well,
wanna-
he's doing like a special filming thing, He's got to make sure that the lights are set up. Dolly Crane is involved.
Dolly Crane.
All right,
Look,
yes.
man, it's the whole technical.
And that's me, so I'm gone.
Oh, not again.
Oh, because I was going to tell you got to tell him where you are.
Oh, not that again.
You do this one again. The voice actor panel's just ending, then we're going to do some of their favorites. Bad time to call. Alrighty, one last question going once.
Sold.
Alright. Thanks guys for coming.